Okay, CC students, this is the second part of our opening statement video. We're going to break every rule that I had just talked to you about. I apologize, but I'm going to give you, from my advocacy book, example of a bad opening statement and a good opening statement. And I'm going to read it because I don't have it memorized and I don't have it outlined, but I did highlight it. But I want to read it for you. So let's start with the bad one. Now, when I say bad, although it's technically correct, it meets the requirements of what your mock trial packet tells you that an opening statement should have. You're going to see why it's not good when I show you a good one. So let's start with this. This is about a civil case. It's the estate of Catherine Potter, who was killed. And here it begins. The Potter family claims that Catherine Potter was walking in the crosswalk of Mattis Avenue with the green light. Schrackle, the owner of a construction company, was behind the wheel of his truck, hurrying to be on time for an appointment with his largest client at a problematic job site. Schrackle turned left from Kirby Avenue onto Mattis Avenue when he struck Miss Potter with his truck, causing her death. Okay, so we know what the case is about, right? It's about a injury to, or the death of Catherine Potter by Schrackle, who was driving his truck, and there's some liability there because she had the green light. That almost put me to sleep while I was reading it. So let's look at a good example. Are you ready? All right. On the morning of July 11th, Professor Jeffrey Potter kissed his wife Catherine goodbye as she left their home to go to work. As he watched her walk down the stairs, go down the block, look back, and wave to him just before she turned the corner, Jeffrey never would have imagined that the next time he would see Catherine was in a bed at Nita Hospital where she lay dying. What neither Jeffrey Potter nor Catherine Potter could have anticipated is that on the afternoon of that same day, Charles Schrackle would ignore the lesson all of us learned from our parents from our earliest days. Walk, don't run. Whether we were dashing about the house, sprinting along the sidewalk, or flying up and down stairs at our parents' constant warning was to walk, not run. In the earliest days of school, tempted by the marvelously long and wide hallway, and our minds on recess, our legs began to churn, and we were met by that same refrain from our teachers: walk, don't run. What both our parents and teachers understood and taught us is that if we were in a hurry, if we rushed, we might hurt ourselves. And if we were in a hurry, if we rushed, we could hurt other people as well. As Charles Schrackle turned the wheel of his truck to make a left-hand turn onto Kirby Avenue, he certainly had heard these same words from his parents and teachers. But on the afternoon of July 11th, Charles Schrackle had a more urgent concern on his mind. He had quit his secure job as a construction worker to start his own construction company. 2 days earlier, Schrackle had received an email from his largest client, Clark Poe, telling him that there was a serious problem at the Greenbrier job site and that Schrackle's excavation company was to prepare for construction. The entire Greenbrier contract, and perhaps Mr. Schrackle's entire business, was at stake. Mr. Poe's email told Mr. Schrackle in no uncertain terms to meet him at the job site promptly at 3:30 and be there and be on time. Mr. Schrackle immediately sent a return email promising that, unlike sometimes in the past, I assure you that I won't be late. But as Charles Schrackle approached the green light on Kirby Avenue to make a left turn onto Mathis, he was in serious jeopardy of breaking that promise. At that very moment, Catherine Potter was at the green light and the walk signal was in her favor. She slowly stepped into the crosswalk and began walking across Mattis Avenue. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek Klepper, and it is my privilege and serious responsibility to represent the family of the late Catherine Potter. All right, so there's two examples, right? First one, although technically correct, gave us an idea of what the case was about and a preview, but it didn't grab our attention. The second one, though, was really good, right? It brought you in. You want to know what this case, you have an idea what this case is about. But did you notice what they did? They were weaving in there the things that they had collected, the evidence. They also weaved something in that one that we didn't see in the first one, and that was their theme, right? The walk, don't run. And they brought the jury to different points in their own personal lives, right? Whether it was their parents telling them to walk, don't run. It's something everybody can relate to, right? Walk, don't run. School example, don't walk, don't run. But to slow down and to not rush. Because why? Because you couldn't harm yourself or someone else. So that theme of walk, don't run, that's woven throughout their opening statement. Another thing, though, that they probably would transition to would be the things that they have to prove, right? The elements of the crime. But their detail about what happened, their preview about what the case will show, their summary of the case is pretty much what that is. It's all tied back to their theory of the case, the legal theory, the factual theory of the case, the theme of the case, and also the evidence that they've collected, right? Because now they're interjecting the email. That wasn't in the first opening statement, the bad one. They interjected an email from the construction to the Mr. Schrackle, from the client saying, don't be late this time, right? And that goes to the theory of their case, right? Because the liability, they'll later talk about this, was that the defendant was negligent, right? Because the liability would be that they didn't in a civil case, they didn't perform to a standard or a duty of care. Well, they were negligent. And they're tying that in because they're showing that the defendant was concerned about being late. So I read that to you because I think that's a pretty good example of a theme, and also an example of how to make this your own, and also how to humanize this, and how to make the jury want to listen to your case. I hope that helps, and I wish you luck, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.